Hello! It's June 2019 and I'm on a bus in Ireland, as you'll be able to tell from the lady behind me.
I get the bus we pass Quest back to Tralee, like.
Anyway, while I'd love to listen to another half an hour of her phone call, we're getting off at the next stop to see a unique piece of transport history, because today we're going to find out why a small town in Ireland ended up building this, the world's first fully functioning monorail. This is Listowel in County Kerry. It's a lovely historic town with a beautiful market square, a colourful high street, a 15th century castle, and an internationally acclaimed annual literary festival. And of course, we're not here to see any of that. Instead, we're taking a 10-minute walk to a back road on the other side of town, because just down here, on the 29th of February 1888, they opened the Listowel to Ballybunion Monorail. Until then, monorails had existed mainly as exhibitions and test tracks. This was the first time anyone had built one as a genuine functional railway, with tickets and passengers and freight and everything else you'd expect. And how exactly this quiet corner of southwest Ireland ended up with the world's first monorail is quite a story. It all starts with a French engineer and inventor named Charles Lartigue. In the early 1880s, he was in Algeria, trying to work out how best to get a railway across the desert. They'd tried conventional track, but the rails kept getting buried under the shifting sands. So Lartigue had come up with the idea of a monorail track, raised above the ground on trestles, that would allow sand to blow straight through it. It was a very simple solution, and like all the best simple solutions, it immediately created a whole shed-load of other problems. For a start, it meant that he had to design a whole new kind of train. The resulting locomotive and carriages, let's be honest, look like what would happen if you took the instruction manual for how to build a train, put it through Google Translate 3 or 4 times, translated it back into English, and then gave it to an alien. Meanwhile, staircases had to be built into the carriages to allow passengers to get from one side to the other.
There we go.
All to yourself.
Nice one. Thank you very much.
This happened quite a lot because the carriages needed to be evenly loaded on either side. If too many passengers from one side got off at a station, then some of the passengers from the other side would be required to cross back over in order to rebalance the train. This also meant that platforms needed to be built on both sides of the track at every station. The system did have one major advantage though. It didn't cost very much to build. In 1886, Lartigue came to London to try and sell his idea as a cheap alternative to conventional railways. Coincidentally, at around the same time, there was a Westminster MP whose pesky Irish constituents had been lobbying for a rail connection for years. One thing led to another, and 2 years later, through the magic of British politics, the southwest of Ireland got a shiny new railway that had been specifically designed for the Sahara. Ireland declared independence from the UK in 1919. Now, although this is a rural part of Ireland, there are still quite a lot more people here than there are in the Sahara Desert. And it turned out that some of them wanted to be able to get their horse and cart from one side of the line to the other. The problem is that when you lift a metal railway almost a metre into the air, you make it quite a lot harder to drive a horse and cart over it. As a result, each road crossing required the construction of a kind of drawbridge that would be operated manually by an attendant. Brilliantly, the local authorities gave priority to road traffic. So every time a farmer decided to take his cattle across the line, the drawbridge would come down and the train would have to stop and sit there until the last cow made it to the other side. Junctions were complicated too. Lartigue designed an ingenious system using a curved rail on a turntable that would allow different paths to be set. And you can see the real thing in action here.
The only problem it had here was halfway between here and Ballybunion there's a bit of an incline, and the local youngsters had a habit of rubbing soap on the top of the rail. So it would necessitate passengers having to get out and push things. Yeah, that became a bit of a craze at one stage.
Everything that you see at Listowel today is a reconstruction that has been lovingly built and maintained by local volunteers. There's about 400 metres of track, and although they've made the decision to run it on diesel to cut costs, the engine is otherwise an exact replica of the steam locomotives that used to run the line. You might even get a chance to blow the whistle, something that I didn't even know it was possible to be bad at. The original railway closed down in 1924. It had never really recovered after getting damaged during the Irish Civil War. And with it, Lartigue's dream disappeared too, because for some reason the idea had never really caught on anywhere else. I mean, sure, it was plagued by design issues, and by all accounts it never made a profit. But the fact is that it achieved what it was supposed to do, running successfully across Southwest Ireland for 36 years without a single train ever being delayed by a sandstorm. If you'd like to visit the Lartigue Monorail, a ticket costs €6 for adults, and that includes entrance to the museum and a ride on the railway. You'll be supporting a piece of genuine transport heritage, and the volunteers told me this place barely makes enough money to stay open each year, so please do pop by if you get a chance. Listowel is a bit of a mission to get to, but it is on the main bus route between Limerick and Tralee. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do slap that like button or leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I will see you soon.